There are nights when thinking about your parent feels like a weight settling deep in your chest. I should have been kinder. Why did I say that? I should have stayed closer. Some people carry that regret even while their parents are still alive. Others don't feel the full weight of unspoken words until after their parent is gone. And then there are those whose relationship with a parent was never quite right. Tangled, distant, unresolved, not knowing how to begin again, wanting to apologize, but unable to find the courage to reach out. I hear from so many people who carry exactly that. Today I want to share a story about one of the Buddha's most gifted disciples, a man said to possess powers beyond ordinary human understanding. He loved his mother more than anyone, and yet he could not save her from suffering. He wept, and inside that grief, a teaching for all of us quietly waits. I hope you'll stay with me until the end. One evening, this disciple sat beneath a tree and asked himself the question that had haunted him for years. If I cannot ease my mother's pain, what good are all my insights? What he discovered in that moment, not through logic, but through the ache itself, changed everything he thought he knew about love. The weight in his chest didn't disappear, but it transformed into something he could finally hold without being crushed by it. This happened about 2,500 years ago. Among the many disciples who gathered around the Buddha, there was one called Maudgalyana, known as the foremost in spiritual powers. These were not ordinary abilities. He could perceive things invisible to others, sense events across great distances, and move the world in ways no one else could. One day a thought he could not shake came over him. He needed to know what had become of his mother, who had passed away. He reached out with his extraordinary sight. What he saw broke him. His mother had fallen into what Buddhist teachings call the realm of hungry ghosts, a place of unending hunger and thirst, where no matter how desperately one reaches out, nothing can be eaten, nothing can be drunk. She was skeletal, trembling, still stretching her hands towards something just out of reach. His heart shattered. "Mother, I'm here. I'll help you right now." He gathered his power and sent food to her, but the moment it touched her lips, it burst into flames. He tried again, and again, each time the same. The disciple said to surpass all others in power could not bring his own mother a single bite of food. He ran to the Buddha, tears streaming. "I have failed, all my powers, and I cannot save her. Please, tell me how." The Buddha received his grief with quiet steadiness. "You cannot do this alone," he said, "but there is a way. At the end of the summer retreat, gather the community of monks, those who have practiced long and deeply. Offer them a meal. Let their accumulated goodness flow toward your mother. When your devoted heart joins with the virtue of many, she will be freed." Maudgalyana did exactly as the Buddha taught. On the 15th day of the 7th month, when the summer retreat drew to a close, he made offerings to the monastic community and turned all the merit toward his mother, and she was released from her suffering. This is the story at the heart of what we now call Obon, the time each year when we welcome the spirits of those we have lost back home. What did you feel when you heard that story? Here was a man with powers no ordinary person could dream of, and still, he could not reach his mother alone. That helplessness, I think, lives in all of us. When a parent falls ill and there is nothing we can do, when we try to understand their pain but simply cannot get close enough, when we search for words and find nothing, when we want to fix what has been broken for so long and don't know where to begin. In those moments we often turn on ourselves. If only I were different. Why didn't I do more? But this story offers something else entirely. There is a word in Buddhism, eko, often translated as dedication of merit or turning goodness toward another. It sounds formal, but the meaning is very simple. Taking whatever good you have done, whatever kindness you have offered the world, and consciously directing it towards someone you love. Maudgalyana tried to save his mother through his own strength alone. It wasn't enough. But when he joined his devoted heart to the goodness of an entire community, something shifted. His mother was freed, and there is something else worth sitting with. The reason his mother had fallen into such suffering, the old texts say, was that during her life she had loved fiercely, but only her own child. She showered him with affection while remaining cold and closed to everyone else. In Buddhism, we call the accumulated force of our actions karma, not as punishment, but as consequence. The patterns we build through how we live ripple outward, shaping what we encounter. But karma is not fate. It is not a locked door. Even his mother's long-hardened pattern was softened, not by her own effort alone, but through the meeting of many people's goodness and one son's unwavering love. When we cannot do it alone, the path runs through connection. That is what Magdalena's tears are teaching us. Let's bring this closer to where you live. If you are carrying something unresolved with a parent, grief, regret, distance, or a silence that was never broken, I want to offer you a few things today. The first, you do not have to carry this alone. Magdalena had greater power than anyone around him, and still, he could not do it by himself. He ran to the Buddha, he wept openly, he asked for help. When we are struggling with a parent, whether they are still here or gone, we tend to believe we should handle it ourselves, that asking for support is weakness or an imposition. But even the most gifted disciple needed others. Talk to a trusted friend, speak with a counselor, walk into a quiet temple and simply sit with your hands pressed together. Let yourself be held by something larger than your solitary effort. That kind of connection can be the very first movement toward healing. The second, try turning today's small goodness toward your parent. This is what the practice of echo looks like in everyday life, and it asks nothing complicated of you. If you were patient with someone today when you didn't have to be, if you listened when you were tired, if you chose kindness when bitterness would have been easier, in that moment you can simply turn your heart and think, I offer this to my father. May my mother be at peace. If you have a home altar, fold your hands before it and let that intention rest there. If you have no altar, it can happen anywhere, on a walk, at your desk, in the quiet before sleep. Your parent doesn't have to be alive for this to matter. The relationship you couldn't repair before their death is still a relationship. It lives in you, and it can still soften. The third, stop holding yourself entirely responsible. The fraying of a parent-child bond is almost never one person's fault. Your parent was a human being with limits, wounds, and blind spots they may never have understood in themselves. You were too. You still are. So were they. Even Magdalena's mother, her pattern of love that excluded others was still at its core, love. Distorted perhaps, but love. People hurt each other most often from inside their own fear and longing. Recognizing that, really letting it settle, is not about making excuses. It is about releasing yourself from a weight you were never meant to carry alone. You don't need to make one enormous change today. Just let your heart turn, even slightly, in a new direction. That is enough. Magdalena wept because he could not reach his mother. But in the end, he found a way, not through the force of his own power, but through the gathering of many hearts, all turned in the same direction. His tears were not wasted. If your chest tightens when you think of your parent, that ache is not a sign that something went wrong with you. It is a sign that you still carry them, that they matter to you. A cold heart feels nothing. The pain you carry is the shape of your love, even if the words were never said, even if the time did not unfold the way you wished, even if the distance between you was never fully crossed. From this moment, you can turn your heart. However small that turning is, it reaches. Thank you so much for listening today. There is no single answer to what we carry with our parents, but if you are asking the question, if you are wondering how to heal what has been left unfinished, then you already hold something precious. You hold the desire to love well. Trust that, and carry it gently through the rest of your day.